So there's a lady on here who is crying because she's going through a separation that she initiated, and she was informed by her husband that he would be removing her from their insurance. And she was saying now she's going to have to work longer, harder to make the money to pay for the insurance. Now, here's a couple of things I want to say, because I know in the comments people are going to talk about how the system in the US actually works and the fact that he can't remove her, blah, 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 unless they're divorced. I'm not commenting on that, right? What struck me is that this woman is overwhelmed, she's distressed, okay, and she's anxious about protection, being protected, and anxious about whether or not she has the resources to replace that protection that she's losing because of a decision she's made around separating from her husband. Do you see what I talk about when I talk about the fact that money does not come from or through men? And there is a complacency that obviously has been created by conditioning and programming so that women see men as safe holds and safe bets when it comes to money and protection. Because she's made a decision to separate, and now he is retaliating, because that's what it is, by removing her from the insurance or letting her know that that's what he will be doing, full well knowing that potentially she cannot replace that insurance. She may not have the means to do so. Now, no doubt, women, generally speaking, are resourceful and industrious. Most are. So she'll figure it out. But my point here is, you see, marriage is a system of power. You guys don't believe me when I say this. You don't believe me. It is a system of power. And usually, right, the power, okay, is often wielded by the government or state, depending on the country and place that you live, because the government or state will set the rules and the laws around how marriages are formed and how they're dissolved and what happens to assets and money when that does happen and how they're divided. But equally, the next stronghold of power is usually the man. Because if you're a woman who's gone into that system of power, relying on, looking to the man to provide protection through his job, his employment, and quite frankly, you're relying on his goodwill. Because in this instance, she has chosen to separate from her husband for whatever her reasons might be, and he has retaliated very quickly. What is he doing? He's pulling on his power terms around the protection that she enjoyed, relied upon, when they were on good terms. This is why I always say you must have your own money as a woman. And if you're going into a system of power like marriage, everything becomes intertwined. This is why I'm sorry, married women cannot completely decenter men. Because the very nature and the contract of marriage requires you to be intertwined with them in ways that require unraveling, that require you to have created your own independent streams of resource to unravel from, right? When you don't rely on men for money in any way, shape or form, you can walk. You don't have to cry when you've got to change the name on a policy. You don't have to be up at nighttime because you know you've got your money. And that money gives you options and freedom and choices to move left or right. This is important.